Yo, 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 what is up, guys? Aiden and Joel here with, I don't even know what episode we're on. I should have checked. But with the Paint Your Path podcast, we got a really good one. Joining us is going to be Russel Peach with Peach Painting. So he'll be joining up in a couple minutes or whatever. But how you doing, Joel?
Man, I'm doing great, brother. How you been?
Dude, is that a new brand
What's
on the
that?
hat?
Actually, no. This is it's called Japangelis. It's a company in Little Tokyo, Los Angeles
Okay.
that I am obsessed, and I haven't been able to wear this shirt in probably 6 years. So I was like, I'm rocking the hat and the
Fire.
shirt today. Yeah,
I thought it was like J for Joel or something because I know you had
I
the
love it for
green.
that. Yeah,
That's awesome. I'm
but
good,
yeah,
bro. Redid the office as we were just talking about.
yep,
New shelf. It was done, like already built for me. So you know how you got to put it together and whatnot. I was
yeah,
like, I'll take that one.
yeah.
um,
Perfect.
yeah, and then we also repainted the walls. You can't tell at all. I was trying to go a little bit later, but dude, it looks exactly the same.
Really, I think it looks like a lighter gray.
It's probably because I got the sunlight going.
Okay,
Maybe a
that's
little lighter,
natural
but
lighting.
I mean, it was like nominal.
Okay.
What have you been up to?
Dude, man, we're just getting ready for PaintCon, man. Like, just super excited and um, restructuring things, changing my time block schedule. I mean, I've been shifting a lot of things lately. So just kind of feeling like I need to pay more attention to my tribe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I've done some restructuring. I've been doing like way too many back to back calls. So
yeah.
now I'm just spreading it out throughout the week versus front loading.
Hmm.
And I'm feeling a lot better now. It's not so taxing on the mind.
Yeah.
So that's been good. And yeah, man, just like the whole PaintCon situation, waiting for that. Other than that, nothing really new at this moment. But what's new with you, brother? Besides the
Shit.
shelf.
Yeah, besides the shelf, right? Dude, just kicking it, trying to figure out the game plan for next year,
Yep.
been going through like, all right, if this goes this way, let's do this. Here's the plan, here's how I want to structure things, kind of like you're doing, right? I think a lot of people are kind of getting ready for that 2025, like, especially the people we're around, a lot of people are like, hey, let's take the next step. What do we got to do? So we're probably a little bit busier, trying to game plan and get with people on that.
Yep.
And I'm doing the same, juggling the coaching with the painting business with, everything else I got going on. Can get a little hectic. So just trying to find that, like, that perfect spot where I can be profitable, be sane, build a team, and kind of look for the future. And I wanted to get with you a little bit on like your sales rep stuff. You know what I mean? Kind of
Yeah.
process you have laid out and your insight, because you've obviously been doing it forever. And there he is.
Mr. Peach.
What's up,
Introducing the
guys?
Peach.
Yeah,
What's up,
man.
bro?
How you guys doing today?
I'm
Shit.
excited, Peach. I was trying to do your colors, but I guess I only got the peach color, not the green.
Yeah. Well, the green's my favorite color out of it too.
There you go.
Yeah, that royal green.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
What you been up to, bro? You been busy?
Yeah, busy man. We got rid of a sales guy, so I had to jump into a handful of sales. Not many, but bringing on two this week actually.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
good, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Officially like spending time with you, meeting you, and coming out there and kind of chopping it up with the
For
team.
sure, man.
Your team and kind of just what you built over there is awesome. Just seeing the whole setup. I think more people need to do that, right? Like I'm going early for the paint con to kind of visit Joel's setup, be with him and just kind of be in that vibe. It's like inspiring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because my wife, she's always like, "Who's that one guy we met in Tampa?" I was like, "Oh, it's Russell." She's like, "I like him."
Awesome.
Oh, you
Appreciate
got
it.
approval, man. That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it, man. You helped us out a lot dialing in our production rate, so we're definitely grateful for that.
Yeah, you guys still using them and stuff
Yep.
like
I
that?
haven't tweaked them at all.
Beautiful, bro. That's amazing.
Man,
Yo,
when
let's
Russ
plug
makes a
PaintCon.
decision, he's just bang. He's like, yep, there it is.
Yeah, let's plug PaintCon. I want to share my screen real quick
Yep.
because we are all going to be speakers, which is extremely important. Let me
100%.
share this real quick. All right, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yep.
So, guys, San Diego, November 22nd, 22nd to 23rd, Friday and a Saturday. There's still tickets available, right? I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
CEOs sold out. VIPs almost sold out. Most of the tickets left are the general admission.
Yeah.
So, guys, get your tickets ASAP.
And guys, if you go and stay at the, Bahia Resort, you're going to get 15% off. Just mention PaintCon. So they're going to help you out, and you'll be in a resort with all like the main people that are going to be there. So you'll be able to spend time with us, kind of late night, just chilling, vibing, that kind of thing. So we'll get a morning workout in, I assume, right?
Yep.
And, you can't beat it, dude. Andy Elliott, look at that. Joe, headline speaker. Then you got a whole host of panels and other speakers, myself, Peach, and a bunch of other people in the industry. So I really wouldn't miss this if you're in the painting industry and you're looking to level up. I mean, this lineup is stacked. Not many people are missing that we know of, that really bring value. Bunch of sponsors. You got Joel in there, me. So yeah, super excited about it. Go get your tickets. Paintcon.ca, hosted by Lucas Jensen. So super excited about that.
Yeah, you were saying about the Bahia Resort. I highly recommend anybody to go stay at the resort. A lot of people get like an Airbnb or they get a hotel down the road. They always regret it because, the late night networking that goes on is always, sometimes even more powerful than the actual events at certain events. So then
The
stay out
best.
there late, go right up to the hotel. Don't have to worry about Ubering, driving, or anything like that after.
Dude.
Yeah, man. And it's like, a lot of people don't realize it being out here. Like, it's a private beach. So you guys literally going to be on a private beach. You guys are close to all of the most popular beaches too, like a 10-minute drive from Mission Beach, Pacific Beach, then going up to La Jolla. You guys have so much access and it's exciting. And just like Peach said, I mean, I remember when I went to the PCA, I got more networking on the social events, right, than actually being at the inside of the room. So I agree with you, man. I think it's going to be a lot of networking, a lot of great ideas, and it's going to really pump us up to get 2025 on a good start.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And the cool thing is, like, not only are you building those relationships and stuff, but you're getting like actionable things you can bring home, like PCA, like, don't get me wrong, like, you're going to crush at the PCA as well. But you don't want to just bring energy home. You want to bring like the know-how, the how-to, and that's what you're getting at PaintCon. So, it's going to be a different atmosphere. And I know Lucas is going to cook up some crazy stuff. I already know he's bringing it. He has to, it's his first one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, biggest thing,
So,
you can't let that quote unquote high wear off too. A lot of people, they come back, they're fired up for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and it just slowly dies off. You got to keep that high pumping after you leave the big events like that.
yeah.
Russ, I'll go right into it, man.
Yes,
you're
sir.
already here, right? So you're like what I would say you're a pioneer in the industry of going to events and then implementing other people's processes that you feel like fit with your alignment in your company. So tell us a little bit about like what you've done. I mean, you invested thousands of dollars for it.
6 figures, right?
Like easily, right?
Oh yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, man. Cause like I didn't start going to events till recently. And when I hear you speak about them, I'm like, God, like this, it pumps me up. So tell us a little bit about your process and why you've done that and how that's helped your business out.
Yeah, definitely. So I just went to an event last month, and then for the next as of last month, I mean, I guess it's 5 months out now, but at that point, there were 6 events in 6 months that I was going to. I invested well over 50K into the events and hotels and flights, and that's before I actually spend $1 actually at the event on drinks, food, whatever the case is. So that's just because I'm so bought in on investing into myself, investing back into the team, and actually implementing and just networking with everybody. So it goes back to, what was it, 2022-ish timeframe, maybe 23, whenever I was out of whenever I wanted to step out of my commercial painting business, because we were doing all commercial. I went to the first PCA Expo. It was in Orlando, and that was the year that I took my business from 450K to $1 million. And that's just from that first event. I got that high. I learned, I met a whole bunch of people in the industry, learned a whole lot about how to actually run my residential painting business. And I just saw and I felt the impact that it gave to myself, that it gave to my team, that all the impact that I gave to people as well. And the results from it all, of course. So, of course, I'm a huge advocate. Went to Jason Phillips boot camp, his sales boot camp. Man, he runs a polished system over there. So we came back. I hired 3 sales reps right away, bought 3 cars, rolled out the red carpet on the sales training and everything. Brought my man Aiden up there to help us actually dial in our production rates on the actual estimating part. implemented his system right away. Now all of our reps are running with his system. So it's all about, actually implementing. There's a lot of, I
Yeah,
was a victim of it too. There's a lot of people that go into coaching platforms, go to events and all this, and they get all this data, they get all this info, but either they don't have the bandwidth to actually implement or they don't have the know-how to actually implement. So I was actually a victim of that before. I've hired coaches and done nothing with their platforms, just took a few little pieces here and there. So that's just my insight on it, on events and stuff, but also wraps into coaching because some type of coaching events, are very similar as well.
yeah, that's huge, bro. And I just want to say, I appreciate everything you do in my group as well because you're like a senior guy in there, and anytime people need advice or anything, you're like one of the first guys there and always chiming in, and they really appreciate that. I mean, they were some of the guys that were like, you got to get Peach on, you know what I mean? So. Just it's a test to your character too. As you're growing, you're still staying to your roots, humble, connected with people, and like that doesn't happen for a lot of people. A lot of people will change once they start getting to that next level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said, it's character. That's just who I am. I just love giving, giving, giving. I'm not a big fan of receiving, and if I do receive like gifts, I hate receiving gifts. But if I'm receiving something like, Joel's a coach one-on-one, I'm happy that I pay him. I don't want
Yeah,
anything free from him, that just makes me feel better out of receiving things, so I'm always just a giver, and I will give, good karma and bad karma are both real things. And
for
that's good
sure.
karma that's maybe one day my lifetime or my kid's lifetime or somebody else's lifetime will receive all that good karma back that I put back into the world. So that's just part of who I am.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
huge,
man.
bro.
Dude, it's you actually related something to me on this. I learned a lesson, and hopefully someone can take away from this. As much as you're giving, though, when you open that door to receive, you will get an overflow of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that was really tough for me growing up. I was always big about like, no worries, I got you, or I'll take care of you, or I'll do the one, and I'll be da, 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 right. And then you kind of just wear yourself out. But it's just as important to receive, and that's why I love your heart, man, because you're always like give, 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 give. But it's our turn to give back to you, man, because it's like when you receive that, I promise you, man, you'll get nothing but an overflow of abundance. And that's why your business is thriving because you are that type of character. You are that person. So, good for you, man. And
Yeah.
as you get more and more people in the community, we're going to keep giving back to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Peach, you also said something to me before. You were like, sometimes one coach isn't enough, right? You got to go and seek what you need from different coaches who specialize in different things, and that's going to allow you to kind of put everything together and make it all fit, right? So like you doing that whole door to door thing, right? Right now, it's like you just went to it, implemented, and now you're like, this is it. I'm ramping that up. That's something you have on an edge on your competition now, right? Where you're doing
Yeah.
at such a high level because you got the roadmap for it. You took that investment and said, I'm going to apply this to my company, where other people are going to be lagging behind now, and you're going to be crushing it even more. How's that going? By the way,
Yeah, good question. The hurricane set us off a little bit. I have two guys that are starting. What is it? Thursday this week. So, yeah, two guys starting this Thursday. I have one door knocker going. He's already hitting the streets. We're getting some appointments, nothing too crazy, but he's also doing a small warranty work for us too because he was a painter that transitioned. So he's not 100% door to door, but this Thursday we're launching it heavy. I have another canvasser that's just setting out. Door hangers every day. He sets out like 500 door hangers a day, getting a good amount of leads with that. But he's not knocking. He only speaks Spanish, so he can only just canvas. But yeah, man,
that's
we
fire.
got the blueprint, like you said. Hired the coach that specialized just in door to door. Got the blueprint with it, and of course, I'm gonna put as we trial and error, put a little bit of tweaks here and there if we need to, but follow his blueprint completely because that's what I hired him for as a coach.
Yeah, exactly. And like for you, you're also doing other things too, right? You talked about bandwidth and whatnot. Literally, you have your painting business. Now you have flooring. I think some drywall in there or something like that as well.
Yeah. So,
So like,
yep.
how are you managing all that?
Good question. So, whenever I started doing all the implementation on the sales with the new sales system, after I went to the boot camp, I was just fully like, I don't want the buck to stop at me. So I'm just delegating every little
Yeah.
thing that takes my time, delegating it. So, of course, yeah, I'm a fan of overstaffing sometimes. So now 24 transparently or net is not going to be as good as where it will be in 25, but I'm fine with that because we're building all of our systems, most importantly, building the leadership. So yeah, we're overstaffed a little bit right now, but that's why it's easier for them to manage for them to manage all the other stuff, not myself. So yeah, we're doing interior, exterior, cabinet painting under peach painting. We do drywall. We've always done small drywall repairs under peach painting, but now with these hurricanes and storms, we have a few full houses that we're doing all drywall install. We're even doing the bathrooms. We're doing all the kitchens, doing all the trim, all the doors and everything. It was easier for me to sell because I used to do that stuff, but it was harder to train the guys on doing it. So now we're just coordinating with our subs and such. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's all project management at the end of the day. Like PM is PM, whatever the project is. They don't know what the answer is. Call me, call one of our other team members, call one of our subs, and they're going to walk you through it. We'll be able to navigate it to the client. So I don't know. I just don't think it's anything different than managing more paint jobs or more flooring jobs.
Dude, you hit something for me real quick, just so you know. You're hiring now, knowing where you're going to be in the future, right? A lot of people don't understand that concept. So they start to go, hey, what am I going to do? Or I have to look at my net and blah, blah, blah. And I'm really big about that because no different than me, 3 years ago, I hired a PM when I didn't need to, right? I knew that I needed to be where I'm at today. But in order to do that, I have to start training him in advance so that he's prepared for the today. And tell us a little bit about that, right? Like you thinking so far in the future, you're like, I'm okay with that, right? Hit that on the leadership side. Why is that so important for you?
For me, it's just something that always came natural. I've always been a fan of I've always, and Joel, you gave me this quote, but I've always lived my life with this, just start with the end in mind. And I've always done that. I've always I'm so bought into myself, into investing in myself, just being a better person, that I know I'm going to take myself to where my vision is showing me. So if I already sold myself, I mean, how can I not sell it to my team? How can I not sell it to the clients? How can I not sell it to the company to get to there? So I've always, even before I started my residential painting business and I was just cowboying everything, no coaches, no mentors, no structure, I was still overpaying or overstaffing and just investing in the future. And that's just always how I was.
Yeah, and continuously selling that vision,
Yes.
and just keeping everybody bought in because they know that, hey, they've invested so far and now they've seen it pay off. In the future, it's just going to get that much better, right?
100%.
And you're a person that's going to put people in positions to be successful, right? Kind of like, hey, where do you want to be? Let me help you achieve that,
Yeah, because exactly what you said is, if you're doing it for your own betterment, where your team's going to help your company, yourself grow as a individual or as an organization, but you don't offer that growth trajectory for them, the better pay, the better leadership position, what they actually want, it's going to be a short ran road. It's not going to be sustainable. So yeah, that's absolutely right. You got to, once they put in the work, of course, you got to do above and beyond. I always tell people, you take care of me, I'll take even better care of you.
Yeah. And I think what separates you from a lot of guys is your sense of urgency and understanding the opportunities there and really grabbing it and going all the way with it, right? Like even, for example, this hurricane, right? Obviously it's devastating. Like there's a lot of lives impacted. You were one of the first ones to say, hey, there's an opportunity for me to help here, right? And to really say, we need to blast out to everybody we can, get more people out there knocking doors, do these email campaigns, whatever it is. And like how has that like sense of urgency helped you, and has it been like a big factor?
Yeah, I've always had that sense of urgency. Like for the hurricane, to be honest, yeah, it was urgent, but we were a few days behind, and we lost a ton of opportunity because all these storm chasers were already here when the storm hit, so they were flooding the streets at that point. So we didn't get nowhere near as much opportunity as we could have. But now, I mean, we at least systemized everything. So God forbid there's another hurricane soon, but when there is one, we're in Florida, we're gonna make sure we have the troops ready to go right then and there, right after the hurricane hits. But I've always had a sense of urgency, because and it could be a problem. It's not all sunshine and rainbows because I'm always like, I'm here and I need to be here. How can I shorten that? How can I shorten that gap to speed that up? And sometimes, of course, things can fall apart when you're doing that. You can't appreciate where you're at right now because you're looking where you need to be at sometimes. But of course, just implementation and the skyrocketing and growth. Take you on like a side thought that I have on this. I'm in a handful of masterminds, group chats, and we're just talking about how fast our growth is and why some people in the group are just about grow, grow, grow. We're doubling up every year. Other people are doubling up every year. And then there's some other guys that were like kind of smaller, they're running great businesses.
Yeah.
But they like the smaller side of things. They're going to take 5 years to grow up to 3-5 million, which is fine. I mean, whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong way to run business. And I mean, some people will look at our way to be the wrong way to run business. So with that said, they're like, hey, why don't you just slow it down and take the next 5 years to hit 5 million? And I'm like, well, that's not who I am. First off, you must have forgotten who I am. But also, like, what if we pass away tomorrow? God forbid something happens tomorrow, And then I didn't set this plan. I didn't set the trajectory for the company. I didn't set my family up for success. Anything can happen at any day. So if we are alive today, we need to cherish every moment we have. And we have knowledge, we have power, we can impact people, we can impact our companies, our family, most importantly. If something happened to me tomorrow, I'd be upset because my company's not set up for my family to be full of success. God forbid that ever happened. But yeah, the faster I get to there, the more peace of mind I'm going to have, and the better well off my family, my team members, my leadership, they're going to be taken care of without me in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. I was about to ask, like, kind of what drives you, right? Like, obviously that basically answered it, right? It's like, I want everybody to be good, and like that's what I'm made of, Is there anything you want to add as far as like what drives you, and like why does Peach do what he does today?
Yeah,
because you're also engaged, right? In these events, you're talking, you're willing to hop on here. It's not like you're self-consumed with your business. It's like you're out there, you're getting it in too,
Yeah, no, that is my why. Just impact for other people's lives and giving a better opportunity to people. There's a lot of shady companies out there, especially in the trades, and these guys don't have good opportunities. Some people are just mind blown when they hear a tenth of how we run our business. It's like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, just wait,
Yeah.
and now they're dying to work for us. And so that's a huge reason for my why. Of course, my family. I have 2 beautiful children. My son's going to turn 4 in 7 days, and then my daughter's going to turn 1 in January. So
Beautiful.
with those, I mean, those are huge whys. Set up my family, set up all my team for success. It's never for me. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I'll be taken care of too, but it's for the other people.
Yeah. It's huge, bro.
Think about the leadership there, guys. Like, when you can find a leader who's driving like that, right? You got to think of a bus. Who's the driver, right? And it's like right before we got on the podcast, Russ told me immediately, he's like, hey, just so you know, sorry, I'm going to be running a little bit late because I'm out in the field doing sales right now. I had to work with something and da-da-da, right? Yeah. Like, guys, understand that. He's not saying that I'm growing this business quickly and I'm doing nothing, right? He is literally leading the path. He's in front of the team, driving the ship, right? And there's a lot of tools and things you guys can take away from that, because when you have a leader like that, no different than if something happens today and I have to step in, I'm there. It's that simple. No different than Aiden. If something happens that he has to step in, he's there. So, when you guys have leaders like that driving a business, there's something to be said on that, right? Whereas most people now, they sit in an office, they just chill all day. They're just kind of doing their own thing. We're actively, literally in our businesses still, right? So, like, I think that's important for people to understand as well, and to listen to that leadership again. Everything goes back to leadership. Notice what Russ keeps saying, begin with the end in mind. That's his purpose. That's what wakes him up every day. That's what drives him to want more and more and more and more. And if you don't identify that purpose, right, hence paint your path pod, right? Like, we're teaching you guys that when you identify your purpose, you'll be unstoppable. Nothing will make you slow down. You just go all in.
Yeah. And Russ, could you kind of like tell us a little bit about, obviously you talked about, where you were during the PCA and kind of Orlando, kind of all the way up to like a $3+ million business and all that. What was that journey like before? Like, where were you at? Where was your head at? What changed? Like, what was the big picture for you?
Yeah, good question. Go down memory lane for a minute. So yeah, I've always had a big mindset. Like, I was 12 years old and I started my first landscaping business going door to door. So I was always a born entrepreneur, in my opinion. Grow up a little bit more. I was buying broken dirt bikes, fixing them up for a profit,
Nice.
reinvesting, bought my own first car cash. all this when I was like 16 years old. Had my first car, couldn't even drive it because it was stick shift. But I learned burnt out a clutch on learning that. But I always had that hustler mentality. So 18 years old, start the business. I had a connect to get in on apartment communities. I was subbing some work, and then he dried up, so I had to sell my own jobs. And then we were just painting apartments, interiors of apartments for I think it was like 5-6 years. The whole time I was so frustrated because I grew it to like 200K a year, then 300K a year, then about 500-ish K a year, and it just flatlined at like 500-ish K. And I was hands off in the business. I didn't need to do anything in the business. All we had a project manager that also did the office scheduling and everything. All of our subs were taking care of everything. So I'm like, man, what do I do with my time? I really want to go into other businesses. I want to do more. I've always wanted more. So bought into real estate. I was doing that. I bought into another little business, doing a few things but I was always trying to find that path that I could go down. Didn't know where I could go, didn't know how to take the next level, didn't know about coaches, didn't know about mentorship, didn't know about the Facebook forums, painting contractors groups and stuff. So I'm just cowboying it the whole time, just self-made, self-learned, no mentors, just going, And then that's why whenever I found painting contractors online, I was like, man, this is a whole nother world. I've been wanting to get into residential painting. I had no idea how to sell, how to actually price the projects, I kind of knew how to produce them. So that's why I just got so engulfed in the community and it was so overwhelming, all the information. Everybody's just so open, here's this, here's that. Then I heard about the expo, which was like next month at that point. I'm like, it's in Orlando. I'm driving over there. I'm going. And that was kind of just the trajectory that I had going up there.
Yeah, so really all culminated into like the PCA, and that was like the turning point for you.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. I think some people think it can happen overnight, that like these things like, oh, Peach just from spending a little bit of money now has this great business. And it's like, guys, there are steps to all the things you have to do, right? And that kind of leads me into my next like thought, I think where I'm going with this, but if you had to redo it all again, kind of what's your direction, what's your steps on doing it?
Yeah, the steps are first is just getting a coach, getting a mentor. That's how I completely compress time is coaching and mentorship.
Yeah. Just go right into it and learn from whoever's done it before.
Yeah, or at the very bare minimum, just run door to door, do whatever you can to where you can build up a little bit of cash. Because I know there's a lot of people listening that might be like, oh, I just don't have the money for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go hustle even harder. Like, how many hours are you working a week? You working 30, 40 hours a week, or you working 70, 80 hours a week? Well, if it's not the latter, then make sure you choose the latter and make sure you go knock some doors, go produce some more jobs, get a little bit of cash under your belt, spend it on the right coach, and then that's just going to compress the rest of your time.
Beautiful.
And yeah, some people do think it happens overnight, or they're like, oh, this guy's lucky, he just lucked out.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
The harder you work, the luckier you get.
There's haters out there, bro. Yeah, fortunately. And then what's like the big vision for Peach? You're doing all this new businesses, new venture. What's happening? What's the big picture?
Yeah, big picture. I'm just trying to dial in all of our systems to run like a well-oiled machine. We use Joel's office implementation, which he helped us a ton on our office. We restructured our sales, restructured our project management. Just trying to get it to where the buck doesn't stop at me, and our team can build and grow, build the right leadership team, so then we can replicate all of our practices and all of our systems to another location. Whenever I did the big rebrand, I didn't know if I wanted to do multi-locations or if I wanted to do franchising, but I knew I wasn't going to stop just at Tampa. And so now I'm not wanting to do a franchise, so we're just going to do multi-locations and just replicate all of our systems to the next location.
Yeah. What was the thought process of not doing franchises? Just like specific stuff.
So handfuls are, there's lack of consistency on franchises that the franchisor can't really maintain over the franchisee. The actual franchise model, I don't know, I'm just not so much a fan of, because not a lot of franchises, some of the big franchises, they barely give any support. And now they're wondering why, hey, this location is great. This location has a 3.0 rating on Google. Like what's going on there? You can't really divvy the difference. So,
True.
and then also part of our presentation, like we're killing some franchises too. We don't list anybody directly, but there's different ways to paint your project, and part of our difference is, we have our systems dialed in and we make sure that we keep them on board versus some franchises, some are great, some are not. So that's just part of my belief. And who knows, maybe I'll change it. I doubt I will, but who knows? That's where I am right now though.
Yeah. Franchises are interesting, man, because I've talked to a bunch of people that have are a franchise, but I've also worked in a franchise directly, and it's definitely like, oh, corporate won't let us. It's like, we can't do it because it's not the way we do things. It's not like you have the control to change things. Whereas Peach can just go in and just say, hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're doing this, right? So even leadership, it's like you're kind of capped at your creativity and kind of the decisions you can make because you have this framework that you have to follow no matter what.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which could be good.
Yeah, it also goes to like profitability too. You put in all the work and you really get everything dialed in. You bring your leaders from your main location to kickstart the next one. The profitability is going to be a lot better too, which is going to go to, who knows, we're going to have shareholders in the company or other partners in the business. And that pie, we're going to need to be able to separate the pie as well. So with franchise model, usually the profits aren't crazy because they're not usually bought into each location like they would be. Why most franchises, I think it's like 15 plus locations are when they really start to succeed.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And you've seen kind of like, all right, I've done commercial, I've done residential. I'm sure you've done a handful of other things. Where have you found the sweet spot is, or like your niche?
Yeah, so it currently is residential painting. We completely dropped our commercial business. I don't know, I think 4 months ago. Really hard to do. 8 years we were running that, 500K a year guaranteed, basically. But it's just a lot of management. That type of commercial. There's so many types of commercial, but the multifamily commercial turns just wasn't. I mean, not enough reward for what you're putting in. I mean, it could be simple, but then it messes up your cash flow. We always have 100K plus out just due to be paid to us.
Yeah.
Messes all that up. But I don't know. As of right now, yeah, we're really happy with residential house painting. But I think that larger commercial are really what we're gonna start focusing heavy on in 25. You know, shopping plaza repaints, just large commercial building repaints. Um, I don't think new construction is going to be the move right away on commercial, but we'll just see how it goes. Right now, it's residential though. We'll start moving to larger commercial next year.
Yeah.
That's
Nice,
awesome,
bro.
man.
All right, I have another one. What do you do as far as health? Like, do you have a routine, morning, wake up 6 a.m.? There's some guys like, you got to wake up at 4, you got to work out by 5, you got to be reading books by 6. What does that look like for you, bro?
Yeah, good question. So I'm still trying to get my morning dialed in to where I can hit the gym first thing in the morning. Right now, I'm like a 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon type of gym guy. But I always wake up, drink a full glass of water right away, always make breakfast, always take my supplements every day. Um, Hit the office, I'll be at the office 7, 8 o'clock some days. And yeah, get the team going, get things flowing, break off to the gym midday. I'm trying to get my nutrition back in order too, where I'm eating my 5 meals a day. But I do have a fitness coach right now that I'm working with, so I check in every week, follow his meal plan, follow his workout regimen, and yeah, man, health is wealth. I was a huge advocate for cold plunging. I have a cold plunge at my house, and I have 2 saunas at my house, which I need. Which actually, now that I'm saying it, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna hook that thing back up because I haven't.
We're all going to Russ's.
Yeah, I haven't.
I know, right?
Like I should. So yeah, I was doing the hot cold thing for a little while too, which is great for your health.
It's
Your
good,
state
man.
as well. So I'm gonna start getting back into that, but I'm trying to get super dialed back in. Got to get my 6-pack back before I go see Andy
Yeah.
Elliott.
Yeah,
I know,
you're
right?
tired, dude.
Who like, Peach, take your shirt off. Oh, that's so
I
funny,
think we're all
dude.
getting ready, dude. That's
It's funny.
awesome.
Yeah, I've been hitting it really hard. I
Yeah.
do have some questions though by some of our viewers. So let's go through them. Some of them are really good. First, we'll start off with Sam Creaney.
Sam.
With
My
FMM,
man.
my
Let's
man threw
go.
in like 3 or 4 questions. But all right, let's start off. So, Peach, when did it hit you that networking was a pillar for growth, and who lit that light?
Ooh.
Yeah, good question. Man, I think Tanner Mullen really did. Tanner Mullen, my man with
Ooh.
DripJobs and painting
Shout out.
contractors. He was my first mentor. He's the one who helped me just launch my sales game in residential. He's the one. His group is the one who showed me about DripJobs, about the PCA Expo, about all of the networking in his group that was going on. So if I could put it to one person, I think Tanner's the one who gets the props to that. But then there's just
Yeah.
so many different stages of those relationships. I got like guys like Daniel with Integrity Painting, really good. There's so many good friends out there, but like he's running like a what, like $5-6 million commercial painting business. He's an open
Yep.
book with anything. I call him, I need some commercial help, he's right there for me. I got guys like
Yeah.
Brad Ellison, sub model residential house paint. I need anything from him, call him at any time. So there's different levels, and really depending, like you were saying with coaches, where there's certain coaches for certain things. I think that's the same with networking too. You know where your friends
Mm-hmm.
are, know who your friends are, and who to go to for
Yep.
what kind of problems you have.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's like all roads lead back to Tanner. He was the one that got me into all this. I had no idea any of this existed, and then he was like, "Bro, you're going to the PCA." That's so
Dude,
funny.
that's same thing for me, but like Lucas first, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody I was under a rock for years, just so focused on the business that I didn't even know we had this community. And then Lucas finds me, and then I find Tanner through Lucas, and then after that it was like game over. I was like, all
Yeah,
right, let's go.
Lucas is like
So
a social butterfly.
yeah, man.
So I wasn't alone in that, and then not knowing about this world. That's good to know.
No, that's what
No,
I'm
dude,
saying, dude. I know. I'm in
no
Philly. I'm
idea.
like, dude, I'm the Don around my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so
Same, dude. In
funny.
San Diego, I'm like, what? And then I go talk to
Mm-hmm.
everybody else. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
Exactly. You get humbled real quick.
very quickly. Yeah. So it's been awesome, man. I love it.
All right, we got another one from Sam. If painting were no longer a viable trade and you can only do one, what will you pick?
Oh man, he's talking about the Tesla robots taking over. That's what he's talking. Um, hold on. To rephrase the question, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, if painting was no longer a viable trade and you can only pick another one to do, which would you pick?
Ooh.
I would do full home renovations, any kind of
Okay.
rehab or restoration from flood work and such.
Mm-hmm.
That all goes back to my roots. I started the business doing full home rehabs. I know how to do framing. I know how to do roofing. I know how to do subfloors. I know how to do custom kitchens, custom baths.
Wow.
So that just goes back to the roots. So sometimes it's really tempting to keep doing all these things because I know how to do it. But as long as I have the subs, as long as I have the manpower and I can guide them, and I know they're not BSing me because I know how to do it, it's a lot easier to expand into that. So yeah, I think that would be either one of those two.
Okay. Yeah.
Aiden, what would you choose?
I'll probably do roofing, man.
That's where I went to. Right?
Honestly.
I went right to roofing.
Yeah, I actually just signed somebody that has a roofing company in Texas, and he goes, dude, there's times where we'll do a roof in a day. I'll make $7K, and it's not no strings attached because the guys can do whatever they want, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of liability, kind of hard to get the work. But I mean, once you get that going, man, and build a strong brand, you ain't going nowhere, you know?
Wow.
Man, roofing was my last choice.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, water intrusion, man. Then you're liable for anything else, and
Yeah.
that's why I had to replace the roof of my house. I'm so picky with who's doing the work,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You definitely need a healthy budget before you get into it. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
All right. And then last one from Sam. He said, if you only have 30 minutes available in your day, what would you do to get work done?
Man, Sam is the man. I love these questions.
Mm-hmm.
He's truly inspiring though. This guy is
Oh, he's the
as a
GOAT, bro.
killer.
Amazing.
30 minutes. All right, I'm sorry. I hyped him up too much. You got to repeat it again.
Yeah. If you only had 30 minutes available in your day, how would you get work done? Like, what would you do?
Yeah, I guess I'd open the computer and I'd just focus on delegating, just
Yeah.
vision and delegating. That's That's all I could do for 30 minutes straight.
Yeah,
Pre
100%. It's like,
drink a ton of water, make sure your system's flowing, take a shot of espresso, and clock in.
if I could cheat and work on the weekends, maybe I would like get a big board out and like just get everything ready to go. And then in those 30 minutes, you do this, you do that, blah, 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 blah. That's how you do it, you know? That's kind of the only way you can do it. But he said he got that question from somebody else. I forget who he said, somebody big name. And he said, I don't know, one of those things.
That's a tough one to think about. I don't be thinking about that for the rest of the day now.
We're gonna have to ask Sam now the same question back to Sam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Sam,
That's like one sales call.
just drop it in the chat, Sam.
All right, we got one from Georgie2 Pro. He says, how to delegate or self-teach the tech stuff like using Zapier, branding, sales process.
Yeah. For me, I mean, hire out what you're not good at. So like Zapier and all the tech stuff, hire it out. Don't spend your time doing it. Our time is the most valuable as the business owner, or even the leadership team in the company. If people are not good with it, just hire it out. There's Fiverr, what's the other one? Upwork.com. You can just pay people specialists, one-off little events like that, and they'll systemize stuff. Sales process, just making sure that you have a blueprint for them to follow. You know, there's guys that, hey, come shadow me. You're a salesman. Come shadow me. They go on 3, 4, 5 estimates, and you as the owner, you know what you're doing, but you're kind of like spitballing here, spitballing there. There's no real system that you're actually following. There's not a script or anything that you're actually following. So just making sure that you have those scripts or those do's and don't do's and everything really bulletproof before they go meet their first prospect is crucial. Our guys sat in the office for the first 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks actually, just running through script training every single day before they got their first lead. Within the 2 weeks, of course, the second half of the day, some of them will come shadow me and they'd actually see us working in progress. We had to run leads too. We needed jobs too. Couldn't stop everything for 3 weeks while they're training. But they would see some shadowing. They'll get back in the learning, the classroom, and start learning. And then once we released them at 3 weeks, they were killers. You know.
Yeah, I think that's huge, right? You just touched on scripts. Like, not many people take scripts serious, right? It's like they kind of go in, wing it. As long as I can get them the number, we're good. It's like, no, you have to have a process and know how to deal with your specific customer and the situation you're in and what they're telling you, right? So scripts are super, super underrated.
In certain scripts and certain people use them as a frame. I tell them, we don't need somebody making it your own. We spend a lot of money on these leads. If we give a sales guy 5 leads a day, let's just say average cost per appointment $200, which is not crazy, but it's also not crazy low. That's $1,000 a day that I'm handing you. I'm giving you $1,000 a day. I need you to think of it that way. You need to bring me back as much money as possible because I'm giving you $1,000 today, trusting you. How much trust is that? You're a random guy that I just hired, I just trained. I'm giving you all this. Now I'm giving you all this money, you know? So I don't want you making my scripts your own. Learn our scripts, live our scripts. Of course, we don't want you to sound robotic. In the beginning, you might sound a little robotic until you start actually learning them and feeling them, and you'll get your own flow. But it's a script, not a frame. So, but all of that goes into how good your scripts are, and ours are, a lot of psychology, a lot of things based inside of it.
Yeah, it's huge, bro. All right, next question from Javi Remodeling. Ben Moore or Sherwin Williams? Easy question for you.
Sherwin, baby. Ben Moore just won't give us the pricing that we want. I don't think that anybody, when they're dialing in the prices the way we are with our vendors, they will just never beat Sherwin. We do this every year where we meet with every vendor. We have like 6 meetings coming up within this month and next month between all the big paint manufacturers, and we're comparing all of our pricing, and we're letting the vendors fight with each other. Basically, they want to earn our business for the year of 2025. We do this every single year, but what I do too is, of course, we make sure we get the best pricing or the best, factors available. Like some will pay for some wraps, some will pay for T-shirts, some will pay for marketing, etc. And with that, you got to make sure you're loyal with them for the full year of 2025. So, hey, that's what I'm going to give to you. Get us the best price, the best features and everything. I'm going to give you all of our business in 2025.
Guys, we're dropping dimes right now. Peach came. He came to win. All right, we got one from Brilliant Homes. Frank, right?
Frank.
Yeah,
Mr.
Frank, my
Frank.
man Frank.
Yeah.
How to scale from solo guy with a couple helpers to $1 million in sales in 2025.
Nice question.
And he said, mind you, they do kitchen cabinets and usually average jobs about 4,500.
I love this one. I feel like the 0 to 1 million is where I can shine. 0 to 2 million where I can really shine. First, it really just starts with your mindset. The first thing is, it's all mindset. It's all how much you're willing to invest into yourself. How much are you willing to invest into the team? Are you willing to put yourself into debt for the future benefits? I'm not pushing you to put yourself in debt, but if you don't have any resources to take that next step, it's like you got to do what you got to do to win. And a minor setback for a major comeback. I'm sure you guys heard one step backwards for two step forward. That's the biggest thing. So learning how to just pass everything off and how to implement and hiring the right coach to actually help you with all those systems. You might need to hire multiple coaches. I've spent well over 6 figures on different coaches, and I've had more coaches than the amount of fingers I have. So with that, I always find the right coaches, and some of them didn't give me really any value, but I made sure I pulled a few good things out of each one. I think it's just all mindset and just setting up the path.
Okay. Awesome. Hope that helps, Frank.
Yeah, Frankie.
All right. We got one for a sales guy. All right. What is your process on training sales guys and what do you look for in that person?
So DISC personality test is a huge part that I'm still even getting deeper and deeper into. If anybody's ever heard of DISC, if you haven't heard of DISC, I highly recommend you guys to put your entire team, leadership team, sales team, hires through DISC. It's DISC, and it'll really tell you like who people are, who in their natural state, and where they're comfortable at work and such. And sometimes some people will seem really good in an interview, and their DISC personality will come back high S, high C, which is probably going to be good for like an office staff or like a bookkeeper in your office. Not really somebody that's going to be aggressive and talkative and the light of the party. People that are going to ask for the sale. So DISC is a huge like first base for me. And then, of course, just coachability and people wanting to. First, you got to sell them the vision. So you sell them the vision and you're really good at that. Then you got to make sure that they actually receive it and that they're sold on it. So now how they actually talk, how they learn. It could be the best sales rep in the roofing company for 5 years straight. And I still want you to come to me as a newborn child. And you need to take all of our systems. And of course, yeah, as we grow and learn and as things progress, maybe you can start shifting a little bit things here and there. But overall, yeah, you got to make sure you're coachable completely.
Yeah. That's huge, bro.
Hey, so real quick on that before the next question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where can they find this DISC? Like, is this something online or do they have to buy a program somewhere? Like just to give them some value in terms of where to find it?
Yeah, good question. So there's a lot of free DISC personality tests out there. And I don't really think that I found one that really is pretty accurate. The one that I use is disc.jasonwphillips.com. That's Jason Phillips. A lot of people know Jason Phillips, Contractor Freedom. He's based out of Texas. They're roofing, home improvement. They're running like, I don't know, 15, 20 million bucks. But man, they have things dialed in, and their DISC is probably the best one that I've seen. And, we've looked into a lot of them. They're like $60 an assessment, but man, to save you, hiring is one of the most expensive things out of business. And a lot of people do not understand how expensive hiring and training people are. So if this one thing can help you just that much to save all that money, that $60 is nothing versus if you hire somebody and you realize later, hey, this guy is a really good person. I just have him in the wrong seat of the business. It's gonna help that much. And what is $60 to prevent that from happening,
100%. Thanks for sharing that, because I think I've been hearing that a lot in the industry right now, where people are asking me about interviews and how I do that kind of stuff, and mine is just basic psychology and understanding people, right? But
Okay.
I mean, having a process like that is so specific. Man, you can't lose with that, right? Yeah. It tells you something that you may not see. Like you said, like something can happen months later and be like, oh, I wish I did this test because I would have seen this, earlier.
But
So, man, that's
yeah,
huge.
and you're right too, though. Like at the end of the day, the psychology and everything still needs to be a part of it, and all your other systems still need to be a part of it. Like disc isn't just a one-off. Like, oh, this guy's a killer, this guy's not a killer, you know. But it's supplemental to the rest of the process, you know. But it's not only
Yeah.
for hiring though. That's for salespeople to learn disc as well, because like a high D person like me and a high I don't need all the small little analytical details and oh, we're gonna use yellow washi tape on the floor so we don't get dude, whatever. You lost me as a sale. I need the results. I need to know that you know what you're doing. You're gonna give me a reasonable price and that
Mm-hmm.
your team's not gonna screw up on the job. That's what I need to know. Give me the results. But then you might have so learning how to sell to a person like me is gonna be different than the 60-year-old accountant for her whole life where she needs to know every little detail. So it's crucial. It's crucial even in your marriage and your relationship and your friendship is knowing how to communicate with different people. And disc is just gonna, I can learn people right away sometimes now if I know that they're a high D, high I. Just by how they communicate in our first interaction, you can read people right away. Now you know what direction to sell in too. So there's just so many things that disc can help benefit you.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, right, not every sale is going to be the same. You have to adapt to the person that you're, in front of. And having that ability and doing that effectively is going to help you close a lot more deals because you're going to get a lot more personable with how they are, right? And you're kind of like reflecting them in a way.
100%.
100%, man. That's
Alrighty. So we have another sales question. What is your ideal closing ratio for a sales guy and how many times should they follow up?
Love this question. I don't care so much about closing rate. And people are going to look at me like, what's wrong with you, Russ? Yeah, of course, the 30, 40, 50% closing rate's cool. But what if those 30, 40, 50% closing rates are for, $500 bathroom vanities? It's not
Mm-hmm.
that. So what you need to look at on the ownership side, this is something where I try not to get too deep into sales guys' heads because they can overthink it. They can look at things different ways. So like a sales manager or owner is net sale per lead issued. So NSLI is a huge number to track. And, if a guy is closing at 20% close rate, but he's pulling us 20K whales every time he closes versus the guy that's having a 45% close rate, but he has a $2,500 NSLI. I mean, who's going to be getting the more leads? I think that 20% whale closer is going to be getting more of our leads than that 40%, $2,500 closer is going to get.
Yeah.
So, and then follow-ups. Follow up till they die. So we
Mm-hmm.
either till you die or till they die. So when we leave an appointment, we don't close on the spot. You have to, and it's a non-negotiable. You have to sit there and rebook your next be back appointment in person, preferably, or a Zoom call, or very lastly, at least a phone call. But in person appointment to come back and reassess everything or just get another update on everything is number one. That's the best. Second is Zoom call. Third is, of course, a phone call. But it's like breaking up with a girlfriend. It's so easy to do over a phone call. It's hard to do in person. If
Yep.
you're gonna break up with me, I'm gonna
100%.
make it as hard as possible for you to break up with me in person because I'm coming back and knocking on that door again. So that's the
Yeah.
first follow up. But then, of course, just consecutively as much as you can. You don't want to do 2 times a day or anything, but kind of can
Mm-hmm.
feel it out how it goes. Our sales guys have to make 10 follow up calls every single day. Now it's not the same people, it's not multiple people, but you got to
Sure.
go down your list. You got to keep calling every day.
And as far as like automations, how much are you relying on that versus the actual sales rep kind of calling and
We
whatnot?
don't do any automations after the sale, after the price is presented. Have
Mm-hmm.
all of our automations for everything else to help us book the appointment. Then we have some automations going out after we actually book the
Mm-hmm.
appointment. But it's a crutch that a lot of salespeople will use. And I would never allow the salesperson to use that. It's also impersonal too. It was easier for me to use it as the owner because I'm the owner doing sales and I got 20 things going on. So I relied on
Mm-hmm.
automations. But my follow-up game was weak because I was doing so many things and oh, I got automations. They'll be there for me,
Mm-hmm.
So our sales reps will not rely on automations. They're following up on everything.
Dude,
I love
dropping
that.
it. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
This is awesome, man. For anybody listening, man, I
Yeah.
mean, if you missed this one, you're sick. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I think
Oh,
it's so
man.
interesting because like you got this wealth of knowledge from all these different areas that you kind of submersed yourself in to educate and help you with your business, and you really made it yours. You know, you didn't copy anybody. You kind of made your own brand. You made your own way of doing things, and you're still innovating and making things better. And it just speaks to like, you know, what your future is going to look like, because all of those skills and those features about you are going to pay off big time, bro. So we're happy and lucky to have you here, bro.
Yes.
And we appreciate you, you know, and your relationship to us. So it's huge, bro.
Yeah, man.
Thanks a lot, guys. You guys have a lot of impact on the industry too. So props to you guys for that. So I really appreciate it. I know Joel is my main coach right now too. So I always appreciate just being around this guy a lot too. Aiden, you helped me out a lot too. So love jumping on pods, love masterminding, love brainstorming like this too. So anytime you guys want to chat, I'm always here for you guys. So really appreciate the feedback though.
Yeah, man. Any last thoughts?
Not at all.
I want to ask one question. I like to leave a bomb for people, right? How do I word this? So what I think a lot of people forget, right? Other than purpose, right? If let's say your business no longer existed, right? I know we had a question about trade, right? What would you do after that? Let's say just for some reason you just stopped doing painting trades. What is it like deep down inside you would completely shift and just start doing something else? Like what would that be? Like if you weren't in the trades anymore and you can just move on with life and say, hey, I'm going to do this. This is my purpose now. What would that be? Because it says a lot about an individual.
I'll answer this in two different ways. If the rule was my business vanished and I cannot run a business anymore, first thing I'm doing is high ticket sales. All I'm going to do. I'm a salesman. I'm a natural with sales. You know, I can show the vision. I can sell. And then that's where there's no cap. Sales is always the game where you can maximize your income, impact, etc. And of course, high ticket sales. If I could still run a business, I'd find another business, because at the end of the day, business is business. And whether it's trades, if it's not, it's business is business. That's why I opened the flooring company. I don't know anything about flooring. I sold like 25 jobs on flooring. I have no idea how to, well, I know some of how to lay.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
It's not like painting for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go, man.
So I'll do any other business. Take over Lucas. Sorry, Lucas. We're running a marketing company, baby. Whatever it is, so I can build a leadership team, because I have the natural vision to build a leadership team, run the business, and just show the vision. The CEO title for me is stronger than the COO title. I can't integrate as much as I can actually show the vision. So that's my yeah. I'd find another business, whatever it is, because I already have all this business knowledge.
Just got that entrepreneur spark.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ain't going nowhere. I love it.
That's huge, bro.
Locked in. Ain't taking me out of this game.
All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure. We'll get back to our week. And, yeah, man, this will be released probably Sunday, something like that. Appreciate you guys, you know, hopping on and kicking it with you. And until the next one.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody that listened in. See you guys later.
Yes, sir. Paint Your Path Podcast. Go like, follow, subscribe. Peach Painting, the painter Peach, right?
It's Peach the Painter.
Peach the Painter. Peach the Painter on Instagram. Go follow him. Go check out what he's doing. And I'm sure if you message him, he's going to respond and give you some insight. So,
yes,
all right. Talk to you guys.